why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah.
It's party time!
So, what day is it today?
Tuesday?
Wrong! It's NWA Day.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
I was thinking that it might be a good idea if you and I formed an alliance.
Let's get ready to rumble! Attention, everyone. Welcome to the greatest wrestling program in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, let's party.
It's the pre-party with J. Cal.
Here's the story now. If I see Kevin Owens, or even someone who looks like Kevin Owens, I drop them on sight.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is J. Cal, and I spent the last half hour on TikTok talking WWE, but now we're here on YouTube. We're still technically on TikTok, and we're talking NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. So I'm sorry that I'm late, guys. I lost track of time, to be pretty honest, but thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for you guys on TikTok who are following or just newly followed. I'll make sure you get those follow back as soon as I get back onto TikTok. Willie Bowen says, "Hey, J. Cal, there's a book written about Tyrus. It's called The Man Who Couldn't Resist Food, also known as The Man Who Destroyed the World." We got Bobby Petito's here. Sam Retro, my brother, is in the house. Tom Wilcox says, "Pretty sure that book is called The Hungry Promotion Killer." Yeah. But like I said, Bobby Petito's here. Willie's here. Steve G's in the house. Shogain is here. Steve G says, "Oh, I hope J. Cal isn't having a contract dispute." No, we're all good. I literally was just, I got carried away talking about a little bit of the WWE. Thank you for the compliment, Bobby. Appreciate that. Retro says, "Hey, that's a killer card tonight," or decent card. Decent card. Well, look, I mean, first and foremost, it's kind of a sad day here at the Alliance blog because we're saying goodbye to one of our dear friends. This is probably the last time I could play this.
Can you believe that there's some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Envy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion. And I'm Tiffany Paige, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called again? Podcast, period. Or you're ugly. Period. Power approved.
All right, no more pretty empowered. And after tonight, no more Ella Envy. Chris Drummond says, "I feel a title change tonight." Yeah, I think that's a foregone conclusion. The NWA, look, we talk about this for months, for weeks. The NWA taping schedule sucks, right? The NWA filming schedule, they film so far in advance that the content is in the can for like 3 months. The show that we're watching right now was filmed back in December. And, I think it was December 14th. And, that isn't always a bad thing, right? But the problem is these signature live events are being taped so far out that when something happens, if somebody gets hurt, if, God forbid, if we have another Jack Stane where one of the talents happens to pass away, like any footage that was shot with Jack Stane is now can only be utilized in a honoring Jack Stane type way. Like the whole storyline somebody had mentioned in one of the previous pre-parties that maybe it was supposed to be Mims versus Jack Stane as a storyline that they were building to. But when Jack Stane passed away, if that was what they were building to, all that got scrapped. And when you tape so far in advance, and again, life is fragile and anything can happen. But, you know, this was filmed on December 14th. We are now on February the 11th. It's the second episode that was filmed in Dothan, Alabama at the Civic Center. So we're almost 3 months out on this footage. So if somebody were to get signed by the WWE or AEW, if someone was to leave the company, if someone was to be arrested for domestic violence, there would be 3 months of that stuff in the can that maybe you can't even use because of these problems. Or maybe you do release it. I don't know. I don't know what Billy Corgan would do in that situation. Yeah, I mean, so Ella Envy announced on Twitter right at the end of the year that she would be leaving the WWE, not on bad terms, right? She didn't say did I say WWE? NWA. She decided she would leave the National Wrestling Alliance. She decided that she would pursue other opportunities. I believe her contract was up, and I think she just decided to explore other opportunities, which is perfectly within her right. It would have been cool if she hadn't said anything publicly so that the NWA could make it seem like the storyline here was that you don't know who's going to win this match tonight. But the fact that Ella has already kind of signed off, I think it's a foregone conclusion that Ella Envy isn't going to be a champion after tonight. And the people on TikTok still think I look like Kevin Owens. In fact, some have told me that I should change my name on TikTok to TikTok Kevin Owens. And I want to know what you guys think about that in the chat. Do you guys think I should change my name on TikTok to TikTok Kevin Owens? We got Kevin Owens at home. Wish Kevin Owens. Temu Kevin Owens. Walmart Kevin Owens. Let's see. So Steve G, we don't have an exact home for where Ella will be going. We just know that her time in the NWA in this capacity is over. They also said maybe Jay Owens. They're saying that Ella Envy, I don't think she's signed anywhere yet. I think she's just letting it know that she's a free agent. I think the whole point of her making that announcement was to allow promoters, you know, WrestleMania weekend, hey, she's available. You don't have to jump through any hoops. You don't have to work with the NWA. Ella Envy's open because she's no longer in the NWA. Sam Retro says a best of Jack Stane best of Jack Stane complication. Did you mean compilation? Yeah, I mean, look, they should have done something like that. I mean, there's enough content. Jack Stane did win the national title in the Lightning One era. I would have been very okay with buying a DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, for Jack Stane. On TikTok, Astro asked me, how many times have you been Kevin Owens for Halloween? Just once this year. I did it. I got the shirt. I wore pants or shorts. Where's my Kevin Owens shirt? I wore this bad guy. I did Kevin Owens one time. Anyways, that's the second shirt I pulled out today. Yeah, I think they should have done a little bit more to commemorate Jack Stane. You know, they sold the T-shirt, which was really classy. Again, maybe a compilation of some of his best matches in the NWA. He is a former national champion. His rivalry with Crimson was pretty fun. You know, he formerly was a number one contender for the World's Heavyweight Championship with EC3. He had a lot of fun matches that I think would have been a good idea to put like on DVD for the fans to buy. They didn't do that, so it's kind of a bummer. Chris Drummond says Ella's probably going to go work bigger indies to get her stock up. Yeah, I mean, I know that she's heading out to Vegas WrestleMania weekend for the Rise promotion, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have the details, but yeah, why wouldn't she? Her profession is being a pro wrestler. If she's going to be a pro wrestler, then she should be. Sorry, guys, real quick. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, she should get out there. She should get more exposure. She needs to build her, her short time in the NWA. I mean, she's only been around since I think 2021, so about 4 years, less than 4 years in the NWA, and she's a 4-time women's tag team champion. I don't think that they were looking at her as a potential women's world champion, and I don't know, if they were planning to put the TV title on her or if that was even a consideration, if she even wanted to stick around for that. There are a lot of opportunities in pro wrestling right now. Wrestling's hot. It's hotter than it's been in a long time. There's promotions like Bobby says, TNA or MLW, like those. I think those would be great for her. But I mean, even without those, there's still a lot of promotions that are running. And I believe she's based out of North Carolina. A lot of promotions that are active there too. So it'd be behoove her to try to get out and get those experiences while she can. Jared Fritz joined us on TikTok. I want to get Jared Fritz on the podcast one of these days. Jared Fritz, if you're listening, brother, I'll have my people call your people. Let's do a sit down, an interview. I mean, my man not only referees for the NWA, but has done work with New Japan Strong. New Japan, you're in. Jared, I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm going to start doing some more interviews on Wednesdays in March and April and maybe the end of February too. I would love to have you come on, Jared. So I'll reach out to you after my live stream on one social media platform or the other. Tim Wilcox says, Shockwave has PB Smooth defending his title against Tim Storm. Smooth lost that title a month ago, and we still aren't close to seeing Shockwave footage. Yeah, Tim, and the problem is too is maybe we don't see that match. I mean, look, if I'm the NWA, if I'm the front office right now and I'm trying to piece this all together, I don't think I would even share that footage, maybe make it a YouTube exclusive just because for that same reason. He no longer has the title. But at the same time, like the territories are not Power. Power is a very separate entity, and Power exists on television. That's where it exists. And titles change hands that don't get recognized until it happens on TV. So it's kind of like two different animals almost. That live audience is kind of paused until that episode of Power airs. And that's not how I would do it, but financially, maybe that makes the most sense for Billy. I don't know. I can't explain it. I think that they need to cut down their turnaround time from like 3 months to maybe like 3 weeks or a month. We see other wrestling promotions do it with a similar size or even smaller capacity. It wouldn't be impossible for that to happen. Sam Retro says Ella would be perfect for TNA. I mean, Ella, like, look, I put the hard sell on the promoters out here in SoCal. I tried to get all of them to use Ella. And anytime someone's name comes up with, hey, I need a woman's wrestler, I'm going to be Ella Envy's your girl. I don't get anything out of that, but I think she's a hell of a talent, and I feel like she is the most I'm not putting down Hollywood Haley J or Tiffany Nieves or Natalia Markova or Kenzie Paige or Kylie Paige, because I think they're all fantastic talents. I really genuinely do. I think you could put Kenzie Paige on WWE programming today or AEW programming today, NXT, TNA, wherever you need a woman's wrestler. I think she fits in today. Is she the most athletic? Nope. Is she the best wrestler? Nope. But is she very entertaining? And the answer is yes. She has great facials in the ring. Her moveset's pretty solid. Look, she's a pretty girl. But I feel like where she is more advanced than some of her counterparts is the way that she sells and the way that she emotes in the ring. They're still calling me Kevin Owens on TikTok. What's up, Charlie? Not a bad idea to bring out the Kevin Owens gimmick every now and again to try and draw in new viewers. Yeah, Tim. Excuse me, I said Tom. Yeah, Tim. I feel like I've had a few guys reach out to me and say, hey, we should do some Kevin Owens skits. I'm like, all right. I mean, look, I am, if nothing, an entertainer. I will put on a Kevin Owens t-shirt and talk in slower cadence and try to use a Nova Scotian accent. Yeah, Soto, you are one, but you're not the only one, Soto. I've had other people tell me that too. And I probably sound very crazy here because I'm talking to the TikTok audience. I'm also talking to the YouTube, Twitch, and Kick audience. Well, not Kick. I'm not talking to anyone on Kick right now. If you're on Kick, I'm sorry, I'm ignoring you. And it's not because I don't love you. It's just because I can't look at that many screens. Let's see. Bobby, thanks for the likes. And if you guys want to help support the channel, liking the channel is great. Following the channel is great. If you're on TikTok, following is a big help. We're on the road to 10,000. I'm almost at 2,000 over here on TikTok. And that's where we want to be, is at 2,000 on TikTok, with hopefully at the goal of being 10,000. But if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch or Kick, following, subscribing, that would help as well. We do appreciate that. Noob is in the house. What's going on, my brother Noob? Steve G's here. Like I said, Bobby says, your thoughts on Tom Latimer getting booked at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling? Like this is one of those moments where I see the NWA taking that next big step forward. And if it's not far off from the Kevin Owens hair. If it's not Tom Latimer taking that next big step, let me say that again. If the NWA is not making that next big step, it's clearly Tom Latimer being exposed to the Maple Leaf Wrestling audience. Yes, it's Canada. Yes, it's not a major national promotion, but it is Scott D'Amore, who had really brought TNA from almost nothing back to where prominence, where it stands now. And obviously, I think the connection with the Soto, if you want one of these hats, I get you one, brother. Not a problem. Why'd you do Sammy like that? Yeah, so with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, they've got the right guy behind it. He's very passionate about pro wrestling in Canada. You're bringing up the world's heavyweight champion, the 10 pounds of gold, Tom Latimer, who I think is a phenomenal athlete. Yeah, I think that's a great move for everybody involved. I think Tom Latimer is going to get some more of those exposure bucks, not to be silly, but getting more lights, getting more cameras, more action on Tom Latimer, I think is good for him. With the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, I mean, look, the 10 pounds of gold has always benefited from a spotlight, whether it had been TNA Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the WWE, WCW. Like, you got to remember, this title right here, this 10 pounds of gold, has been synonymous with pro wrestling throughout the ages. And anytime you can get a showcase on that, that's good for the NWA. It's good for the person holding the 10 pounds of gold. And usually it works out well for the promotion using the champion. We saw it with, there have been several NWA World Champions who've wrestled in Canada. Nick Aldis was wrestling for the Hart family legacy. I forgot what that promotion was called. We also know that Scrap Iron Adam Pearce did a lot with they did it with don't help me out here, the Canadian National Wrestling Alliance, not to be confused with the NWA. And also there was a WFX Wrestling that did pay-per-views using a lot of kind of similar to the old TNA model, using a lot of former WCW guys, and Pearce literally was able to hit Shane Douglas over the skull with the 10 pounds of gold. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea, and I can't wait to see it. I will probably order that Maple Leaf show just to show my credit for it. For my WWE people, General Manager Adam Pearce. That's right. Dave Scooby says, bring back the NWA USA as a highlight show for the territories. I'm with you on that, Scoob. I think that would be phenomenal. We went from having 2 shows and pay-per-views to 1 show on X and limited matches released on YouTube. And I'm not saying that's the end of the world, but I feel like the NWA could benefit from This Week in Pro Wrestling featuring the NWA territories. This Week in the NWA. I love the live stream that Gary does with Kyle and Danny Deals and Joe Galley. But I feel like a show that was more dedicated to tying the territories in with the main brand, with Power, I think would help a lot. Jay, with Mania weekend around the corner, what talent would benefit from looking for work for the indies there? Everybody, Chris, and I think that's a loaded question. I think you knew the answer to that. Everybody in the NWA would benefit from being seen during WrestleMania weekend. Look, a guy like Trevor Murdoch, does he need to work the indies to get dates? No. I mean, look, I don't know how much money he's got in the bank. He probably doesn't need to work anywhere. He probably does it because he wants to. But I think for everyone in the NWA, especially WrestleMania weekend, this is an opportunity where the fans converge in one area. Yeah, Royal Rumble weekend, all the NWA territories should be trying to do something as close to Indianapolis as they can. Obviously, that's already passed, but like, you know, when WrestleMania comes to Vegas, the NWA should try to do a live show out there. Now, obviously, it's too late. I think that most of the dates are already booked up, but when the WWE goes back to Indianapolis for its next pay-per-view, the NWA should have a show there. Figure out a way to get that done. Let's see. Christopher Boyd says, "What's up, Chris Boyd? The former NWA US champion." That's a joke. KO, is that you? They're still getting me. Chris Boyd says the NWA needs Jonathan Gresham. He is a free agent from TNA unless WWE gets him, as a request from his wife, Jordan Grace. The problem with Jonathan Gresham, might be one of the world's greatest pro wrestlers. Unfortunately, in the NWA, size matters. And that's not me saying it. That's the president, William Patrick Corgan, the owner of the National Wrestling Alliance. I don't think WPC is going to book Jonathan Gresham in a way that would make Jonathan Gresham want to work for the NWA. More so, I think Jonathan Gresham, if I was him, and I'm trying to extend my legacy and trying to build my brand, I think the place he should be is Japan, where it's not so much about hype. Because in the United States, he's always going to be looked at as something lesser because he's a junior heavyweight, because he's not 6 foot and 280 pounds. And I feel like he's a phenomenal wrestler. I don't feel like he gets taken seriously because he's not a bigger guy. I look at a guy like Danny Limelight, and although I'm not comparing Danny Limelight to Jonathan Gresham, I think if Danny Limelight was 50 pounds heavier and like 5 inches taller, I think he'd be signing the WWE right now. It's just that's not how it goes. Hello, not Kevin Owens, who definitely didn't Canadian Destroyer. Sammy Junior, you're awesome. I don't see the NWA being able to afford Jonathan, who has options. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Gresham has options. As a fan of Tom, taking the 10 pounds of gold to Maple Leaf is huge. Exactly, Retro. That I think it's a big deal for the NWA, and although they probably won't acknowledge it, it's a great move for him. It's a great move for Tom to be seen. It's a great move for the NWA to be seen. Yeah. Chris says Tom Latimer is not really a household name. He isn't, and I don't think he thinks he is. I think out of all the people in the NWA, I think Tom is pretty level-headed. And I feel like he understands where he's at, who he is, and what the belt he carries represents. Is he a household name? No, but he just did work in Scotland. He just brought the 10 pounds of gold to Scotland. And, I'm going to be in Scotland in April. Why couldn't you have waited, Tom? I would have seen you in Scotland. But he can wrestle. Yeah. See, I won't argue with you guys about how good of a wrestler Tom Latimer is. I get he's not everybody's cup of tea, but to me, he is pretty solid in the ring. Is he Nick Aldis? No. Is he Bret Hart? No. But he's more than serviceable in the ring. His moveset's pretty good. His passion is pretty good. He looks like $1 million. And that is something that not everyone can say. Do you think Scott D'Amore booked NWA Women's World Championship match at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling? Bobby, I don't think that's going to happen, at least not this time around. I think it's a little bit too on the nose to book the NWA champions, both of them at your next show. I think it would be a smart move to look. I think that Kenzie Paige is great, and I think she would make an excellent title defense wherever she goes, if she's still women's world champion. But I don't think that's a priority for anybody right now to put the women's world champion on your show. Or Tom Latimer, again, I feel like Tom Latimer and to a lesser extent, Kenzie Paige. I feel like both of them have all the tools they need to be successful. They just need to be shined the right way with the right spotlight. Chris says, I'm still the U.S. heavyweight champion. All right, brother. All right. Steve G says, I wonder if Diamore is going to have Alexander versus Tom. Oh, Steve, how incredible would that match be? Could you imagine? Oh, man, that would be a phenomenal match. What would happen if Josh Alexander went over? Oh, man, the NWA would love that. And by love that, I mean it would cause chaos. Where is his wife, Camille? Most recently, Camille was also in Scotland competing. Camille getting the Jade treatment. Yeah. In more way than one, Steve G. Chris says Camille's off TV, but rumors she's showing up soon. We want to see Camille. Jade versus Camille would be good for any company. We're not going to see Jade versus Camille. Junior Macias just said, is Small getting a shot at the title? I hope you mean the junior heavyweight. And the Axolotl kid says, hey, Dad, that's my kid. That Axolotl kid is my kid. Hey, Axolotl kid. This is the least amount of time I've seen Camille in the last 6 years. Yeah, she's been like, look, I guess she's medically cleared to wrestle. She's medically cleared to return. They just haven't brought her back in. And I don't really quite understand the focus of not bringing in one of your most talented wrestlers when a movie that she's in about women's wrestling is being released. But hey, you know, I'm not Tony Khan. Although I recently had a 6 Degrees of Separation. You guys know Dave Marquez. Dave Marquez met with Tony Khan, and he only had nice things to say. And that's all I can say about that. Will the WWE sign Isla Dawn, who has been released from, will the NWA sign Isla Dawn, who has been released from the WWE? David, I don't think so. Look, they have 4 very talented women that are featured on TV every week. And we don't see them really mix in anything more than that. Like even the tag team division just is kind of being narrowed out. I mean, look, we're seeing we're seeing Big Mama make her first time on television since winning the TV title. The TV title, a title that was meant to be defended on television. We're going to see the champion for the first time in like 8 months since they won the title. And it's not even a title match. 6 months. It's not even a title match. She's going to be competing in a tag match for a different set of titles. I don't put a lot of stock in Billy's ability to book women's wrestling. Where are the King Bees at? King Bees left. The King Bees are not in the NWA currently. Let's see. Billy should consider breaking the piggy bank and going after Ricky Starks and building the future around him. Figure 4, I think Ricky Starks is a hell of a talent. He's already going to be a WWE guy. Like, I don't think Billy could afford him, even if he broke open the piggy bank. I think if I'm a pro wrestler today and I know that I have opportunity to be on television today, I'm taking less money to go to the WWE than I would take to go to the NWA. I just don't feel like the WWE is, the NWA is, it's a part-time wrestling promotion, which is great if you've already done what you were going to do in the E. Like for Trevor Murdoch, and I don't mean this as any disrespect at all, but Trevor Murdoch is a former WWE World Tag Team Champion. He reached the height of what he could probably do with the WWE. Maybe get a U.S. title run, maybe get an Intercontinental title run, depending on how the fans react to you. But at this point, like he's not going to be a world's heavyweight champion, but he can be the biggest fish in a small pond like the NWA. And there's a lot of opportunity for guys in the NWA who wouldn't necessarily have opportunity elsewhere. I mean, you look at that power roster and genuinely look at it and tell me which one of those guys can take that next step. Tell me which NWA power roster wrestler right now is going to be a future WWE Hall of Famer. Which one is going to main event WrestleMania? None of them. Logan is better than Roman. I like Logan Paul. I wouldn't say he's better than Roman, though. Let's see. I mean, and then Noob says, I mean, look at Natalia Markova. She's been working with the late indies nonstop ever since joining the NWA. There's no reason for her to stop. Rosville, bro, I ended up staying on TikTok a little bit longer than I meant to. All of a sudden I realized it was 2:05. I was like, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be doing something else right now. Chris says she was fired by Mercedes storyline-wise, so she might play a part in Mercedes losing one of the belts soon. I mean, that's a fine way to bring her back in, but, like, look, much like Wardlow, why is Camille being reduced to being a bodyguard? Why isn't she, I don't know, challenging for that title? Why isn't she challenging for the Ring of Honor title, the TV title, either one of them? He looks 99% just like Kevin Owens. It's a good thing I don't think Kevin Owens is an ugly guy or anything. Bobby says that King Beast did a match at TNA tapings last month. There you go. Let's go, Corgan. Let's see. What did I miss? Oh, there we go. We got to get to Bound for Glory level before we get to WrestleMania level. That's fair, David. I don't think there's a... What I'm saying, though, is like this. I'm a huge Thrillbilly Silas Mason fan. In fact, he's probably my favorite wrestler on the NWA roster as it stands today. I feel like Thrillbilly Silas Mason should be the next NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. If not the next one, then the next one after that. I feel like his promos are outstanding, off the charts. His wrestling in-ring ability is really good. I don't think that he's outshined by anyone in the NWA, and I feel like if you put him on that TNA roster, he would still stand out. I feel like if you put today Silas Mason on the WWE main roster, he doesn't look like the same guy he does in the NWA. Will he still be charismatic? Absolutely. Does he still have the Riz? Yes, of course. But I don't see him being a main event guy in the WWE. Look, Karrion Kross hasn't main evented anything, and he was one of the internet darlings. And he probably won't main event, and he probably won't win a world's heavyweight title. And he was one of the hottest acts out there. We look at Alexander Hammerstone, and although he's injured right now, you know, his time in TNA wrestling, it wasn't like he was chasing Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship. We grew up loving these guys. We watched them grow up in front of us. But let's be realistic about where they are. If you put Tom Latimer in the WWE, does Tom Latimer look like $1 million? Absolutely. Is he still as passionate as he is? Absolutely. But is Tom Latimer going to be the next, be the guy to take the belt off of Cody? Unfortunately, no. They said that on TikTok, Forrest Smith said, if WWE needs a stunt double for Kevin Owens, you should be 100% the guy for it. Sean Mega says Silas Mason would be in a tag team in the WWE. Yeah, probably, maybe. And look, and I'm not saying that the guy wouldn't get over. I hope you understand that. I'm saying he is a super credible athlete. But let's be honest. Let's look at let's look at our NWA through. Take off those rose-tinted glasses and look at it in a very realistic way. Tell me the guy in the NWA that instantly would make an impact in the WWE or AEW or TNA wrestling, and I don't think that person exists. Let's see. Spencer Slade would be a great NWA National Heavyweight Championship in the future. Yeah, 100%. I really do like Spencer Slade. I feel like he's being completely underutilized in the NWA as it stands currently. I'll see you in a few. Let's see. I don't even see Cody as a longtime champion in the WWE. I mean, Cody just spent a year and now a year plus as your WWE World's Heavyweight Champion. Well, I guess it'll be a year plus if he makes it to WrestleMania. So yeah, I give Cody his flowers. He's earned it. He's deserved it. They're asking if I know Billy Jack Haynes. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I grew up watching Billy Jack Haynes in the WWE, the master of the full Nelson. And then someone else, Cass, thinks again I look like Kevin Owens. So does Alex. No, I'm not Kevin Owens, guys. It's fun though. David Valentine says Spencer Slade versus Carson Drake would be a slobber knocker. No, it wouldn't, David Valentine. Carson Drake is not a slobber knocker kind of talent. Carson Drake is I'm going to cheat to win. I'm going to run out the ring. I'm going to run around. No, I don't think Carson Drake could have a slobber knocker style of match. Nothing has indicated that he's that kind of a wrestler. Brian Idol is a Billy guy. He will be world champion soon. Sean, I don't think you're ever going to see Brian Idol as world's heavyweight champion. I think Billy Corgan is self-aware enough to know that that's a bad idea. Now, look, you can convince me that I'm wrong, but the simplest way to do that is with wins and losses. If a talent in the NWA has some wins, I could see things coming up. I could see people getting behind somebody like that. Brian Idol's last promo with Silas Mason was really, really good. But again, they didn't even continue on with that. They could have rolled that promo right into a match the following Tuesday, and they chose not to. All the heat that promo created has now, disseminated. It's gone. No one's excited anymore. Steve G says Cody's stale now. I mean, look, maybe for you, Steve, maybe even for me, Steve, maybe for hundreds and thousands of people, but I feel like Cody is still super over with the kids, which is super important for the WWE. I also feel like he does a great job of being the ambassador for the World Wrestling Entertainment, which is what they want their world champion to do. If your options right now were Cody or Roman, who do you want carrying the the WWE World Championship? Tiffany Hayward thought I was El Generico. All right. It's still happening on TikTok. They still think I look like Kevin Owens. That's great. For those of you who are just tuning in on whether you're on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, we're simul broadcasting. This is J Cal. This is the pre-party. We talk NWA and pro wrestling content here. And good times. Getting back to the NWA, Slade is a badass. I like Slade a lot. I feel like he would be a very smart guy to kind of I feel like he'd be a very smart guy to keep on your roster, to keep him happy. And I feel like he should have that matchup with because he's a heel, you can't put him in the ring with a guy like Carson Drake or Mims, because I just don't think it's a compelling story. You need to kind of build him up and give him some wins and losses so he could be the next guy to be the national champion or the TV champion, just not the person to beat Mims or Carson Drake. I believe that Markova will be a WWE star down the road. Yeah, I look, she's not young, and I'm not saying she's old, but she's not young. And right now, there's so much talent in the WWE pipeline, from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT to the Developmental Center to the WWE ID. I mean, they literally have a pipeline of women talent for the WWE. I don't think that it would make sense for Markova to try to get a job in the WWE at this point in her career. I think she'd be better suited for a TNA wrestling or an AEW. If you're going to get into the WWE, it would probably have to be through TNA. I don't think that road is as paved, as shiny as you might think to the WWE, because the talent pipeline is so thick, right? Because not only is it WWE now with the ID program being able to scout talents all across the country, but they also have the Next in Line program where they're getting athletes right out of college to commit to the WWE. Now they have LFG, the Legends Future Generation, whatever that show's called on A&E. They have on Tubi, right? They have Evolve for Tubi. So there's 2 shows. I'm spinning now. 2 shows dedicated to taking the young talent that they've got and making them into stars, on top of NXT, which is on the CW and the CW app, and then Raw and SmackDown. I mean, there's an infinite pipeline. And like, look, if it came down to if you could have, if you're the WWE and you could have Natalia Markova, or I don't know, somebody that was recently released from AEW, who do you pursue? Sorry, can't handle Cody playing the injury card every. That's fair, Steve. Okay, guys, what are we excited about tonight's show? Well, yeah, Chris, I mean, that's the thing. I have the microphone in front of me. I say what I feel. I don't take away what you guys think either, man. It's as much as we can have a conversation, I try to have the conversation with you guys. Our Discord is always on too. If you guys would like to engage with more like-minded NWA wrestling fans, I highly recommend checking out our Discord, because it never stops. I get notifications at 2 a.m. You guys are still talking about pro wrestling and the NWA. I love it, and it's always on. So, but yeah, this is my show, and I do have the last say. Damn it! And Mims won't be a face for a while. Yeah, I don't see Mims. I think Mims is in the best role he's had since he was under the Pope's tutelage, working with G's, excuse me. And I like where they're going with it, and I want to see how it progresses. I mean, they just took the Exodus Pro title off of PB Smooth, and I'm wondering what kind of congregation could the Church's Money have if it was G's, G's, Mims, and like PB Smooth as the heater, right? Like, I feel like that'd be pretty dope. It'd be something to do with PB Smooth, a way to introduce him onto the main roster. I mean, of course, he was at the Return to the Indies, and him and Mims actually had a pretty decent match, but I feel like it'd be another way to kind of help solidify Mims and his heel role within the NWA. Now, let's talk about what's happening on Power this week, because I feel like it's going to be a good Power. Real quick, Chris Shoemaker says, what happened to the Pope? Where is he these days? The Pope is working with All Caribbean Wrestling. That's the wrestling promotion that Mark Henry is the CEO of, and they've actually used a lot of talents from the islands, as well as talents from all across the United States. Most recently, I saw that Danny Limelight has a deal in place with them. Zicky Dice has a deal with them. I also saw his name was Jay Rios. He's trained by the Dudley Boys. He worked a lot in Mexico. I can't remember his name in Mexico, but he also is working with those guys. So I feel like the talent is there. I feel like there is a lot of ACW might be a good promotion. If you're All Caribbean Wrestling, they do have TV on the islands, and I'm sure it'll make its way to YouTube. That's a promotion that I feel like a lot of people should check out. So for tonight on Power, of course, we get the debut or re-debut of Big Mama. She is your women's television champion. Now, look, the last time Mama was on TV was at the 76th anniversary show, which I believe was filmed in late August, where she was part of the Burke Invitational. So those matches might have been seen in October, I want to say. But Mama shortly after that time went on to win the NWA Women's Television Championship at the NWA Chicago Super Smashing Halloween event that took place on October 18th out there in Highland Park. Now, she beat some of the heaviest hitters in the women's division. I mean, she beat Tiffany Nieves, Natalia Markova, and Hollywood Haley J to win that title. And then we never saw her back on TV after that. We haven't seen Big Mama on TV, like I said, in 8 months. I think 6 months. And I think that's a shame, especially because she's the TV champion. Let me say that again. She is the TV champion. One more time. She is the NWA Women's Television Champion, and we haven't seen her on television in months. So what does that mean that the NWA thinks about the TV title, right? Was not very highly. Why does my camera look out of focus? Not very highly. And to compound that, we haven't seen the TV title on Power. We haven't seen Big Mama on Power in like 8 months. And really, we haven't seen the TV title since Max surrendered it at the Return to the Territories, which was like in June of last year. So again, oof, it's rough. It's a rough go. So, and to make matters worse, we're not going to see that title defended tonight. No. She's back on TV to wrestle for the tag team titles, teaming with Kylie Paige, who I believed at this time was injured. So we got Kylie Paige teaming with Big Mama to take on Ella, Envy, and Ms Starr, the It Girls, your NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. And again, I don't feel like that's a foregone conclusion what's going to happen tonight. I don't think it's a spoiler alert. We heard that Ella Envy had already announced her departure from the NWA. So I think we're going to have new champions tonight in Big Mama and Kylie Paige. So that's, I mean, at least that's kind of exciting. But again, I want to see these matches, the stories play out in the ring, not on the internet, not on social media. And it's a shame that we didn't get that out before. David Valentine says, J-Cal, Google ECWA. It's a promotion. They would be great territory for the NWA. I'm familiar with who ECWA is, the East Coastern Wrestling Alliance, if that's who you're talking about. The one in, I think it's in Philadelphia. They had a lot of events in the back, the Super 8, which was one of those indie tournaments. Man, the camera looks really out of focus. What is going on? Is it just my face? Anyways, I enjoyed ECWA back in the day. I haven't really kept up with them these days, but I would have no problem with them being a territory for the NWA. But like I've said before, David, what's the connection to Billy? Because it all has to connect to Billy somehow, some way. Billy doesn't work with people that aren't connected to Billy. Remember, NWA Chicago, he has a promotion in Chicago that he calls a territory that's his territory. What? Instead of asking like CSW to be the Chicago territory or working with somebody else in that Chicago area to be Chicago, he has a territory outside of the company that he owns. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, we're here for it. WLW has the tie to Trevor Murdoch, which is your tie to the NWA. The Crossfire Wrestling, the Paige sisters, their father opened up Crossfire. Now they run Crossfire. It's connected to the NWA. Joe Kazana Promotions, again, Joe Kazana, his crew was doing the ring crew for the NWA for a very long time. Probably still are. And the talents are in the NWA. So there's a connection right there. Joe Kazana, Kazana Promotions, the NWA. Down in Texas, Rodney and Jazz. Rodney is a former Rodney used to work with the NWA quite regularly. Jazz produces the show. Again, connection. There is a connection right there. Tim Storm, Jack Stain were wrestlers that competed on and off for Texas style of wrestling. Boom, there's your connection there. These are talents that Billy trusts. These are talents that Billy has invested in. So, yes, it makes sense that they're connected and their territories are connected to the NWA. Now, when it gets to I see in the chat, I see Sam Retro says CEP will be the territory in the Northeast. That wouldn't shock me because CEP has used a lot of NWA talents. And most notably, I feel like Homicide might be that common factor. Homicide has worked as an agent for the NWA for the last few years as a former World Junior Heavyweight Champion. So that wouldn't surprise me. It's just, and also Colby Carino has done a lot of work with CEP as well. So, I mean, I could see that happening more so than I could see ECWA. And Joe Ocasio. There it is. That's the common denominator, is Joe Ocasio. Rosville says, so we need an actual NWA committee to sell it. I don't know. There are things I like about the NWA. There are things I like about the NWA under Billy Corgan. There's a lot of things I don't like. And I feel like it's kind of a bummer because I feel like the NWA has a ton of potential, and they just don't. They don't get it. They aren't allowed to get it. So, anyways, also on tonight's card, we are going to have. Oh yeah, that's true. Ocasio does have a match with Latimer coming up in New York for their house shows that they're doing, which is, I think that's super important too. So yeah, we have what will probably be Ella Envy's last match for the NWA for at least for now. I mean, again, ending on positive terms, but Ella Envy and Ms Starr should be defending against Kylie and Big Mama. And then also we have it's kind of funny because they called it a no limits match, which, you know, no limits. I mean, is Master P going to be there? What's going on? The X division was about no limits, right? So it's not an X division match either. Not really sure why they call it that. I feel like it's a weird name from that. Now I just got called Kevin Owens from the TikTok shop. Thanks, Brandy. But again, I feel like this is another good, solid matchup. Obviously, this feud stems back when they were both competing for the World Junior Heavyweight title. Remember, it was Colby who took the Junior Heavyweight title off of Kerry Morton way back when. The feud kind of reignited over Kyle Davis when, you know, Thrillbilly Silas Mason kind of went hard on Kyle. It led to a match where Kyle Davis picked Colby as his tag team partner to take on Kerry Morton and Silas Mason. And then things got out of hand with Brian Idol. All that kind of came into it. So, yeah, I mean, this match will be fun because I feel like it's going to steal the show. I feel like Colby Corino, Kerry Morton both feel like they physically have graduated from the junior heavyweight division. And I think that they are both looking to make a name for themselves as a potential next television champion, next national champion, hell, even maybe a next world champion. Kerry Morton said he wants to be world champion from a long time ago. Colby Corino almost feels destined to be world's heavyweight champion. So both of these guys have a lot to prove, and both of them have a lot to gain from a victory in the Dothan Civic Center. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, Sam, you agree with me. I think it's going to be a really good match. It's got to be a good match. Otherwise, what the hell? Then also on the card, we are going to have a tag team title match for Daisy Kill and Talos, your number one contenders for the NWA World Tag Team titles. They finally get their shot at Murdoch's. And who is this? I don't see Trevor Murdoch's and Mike Knox losing these tag titles anytime soon. Solid tag team, really good tag team. Daisy is on another level right now. Daisy's another guy that I think should be looked at as a potential future TV champ or national champion. Really, really good in the ring. Talos is very intimidating. Like to see what he could do in a singles run. Again, both these guys have a lot of potential, but I don't think they're going to go anywhere with those tag titles. I think it's literally Murdoch's belts until they decide to lose them. But that's going to do it for us on this Tuesday. Of course, Power airs immediately following this show on X. You can visit x.com/the NWA to watch everything NWA. Their last show had over 56,000 views. I know a lot of you don't want to support X, and that's cool, but that's really the only place you can watch Power in its entirety. You could still see NWA matches on their YouTube account, youtube.com/the NWA. More than an adequate place to watch NWA content, but again, you're only going to see Power on X for the foreseeable future, so check that out. And then real quick, you guys are saying Daisy and Talos deserve it, though. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have a problem with Daisy or Talos. I just don't think Murdoch is losing those belts. Trevor Murdoch is a made man in the NWA. I don't think anything's going to change for him there. And Retro says, man, Daisy has that old Raven character all over him. Yeah, I agree. Retro, you and I share the same brain when it comes to that. And then Bobby real quick says, what's next for Jeremiah Plunkett? Hopefully, we'll get to see that Mid-American Championship coming up soon. I know it's supposed to be part of the tapings that are going to be happening in Tampa, that recently happened in Tampa. I don't know if he's going to be at the tapings for Forney, but he's all over the place. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Again, I appreciate you hanging out with me here on this Tuesday. Of course, Power starts in about 2 more minutes, so make sure you get ready for that. Go grab yourself a nice diet soda and some popcorn and tune in for some of the best wrestling out on the planet, NWA. And if you enjoyed this show, please think about liking, comment, subscribing. Whenever you like and comment the show after the video airs, that helps with the algorithm. So if you guys like what you're watching tonight, leave a comment, share it with your friends. Of course, that helps. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you're following us on TikTok, the follow is more than appreciated. That's all you need to do. If you want to help support us financially, we have merch. We have partnerships with Dubby and Trophy Smacked. If you need a title belt or an energy drink, got your hookups. Holler if you hear me. But until then, until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA Power every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.